Welcome back, Stella enthusiasts, and let's build our Stella 1.2 Expansion plugin for our Stella 1.2 base module. The tools you'll need. Okay, first you're going to need some snips, some wire strippers, some breadboard, solder iron, multimeter, hobby knife, marker, tape, flux, needle nose pliers, and a soldering grid. Okay, the standard equipment, generally speaking. Some 3D parts that you will need. You're going to want your base mount, which is real nice. This is the expansion base piece and or expansion housing, expansion end clip, and your pinned coupler aligner. You don't necessarily need the base, that's why I didn't include it in the list, but it's still a handy thing to have. Parts. Again, this is pretty basic, so you're going to need your breadboard, of course, half size, quick breakout, 3 and 4 pin couplers. Okay. Let's get these all arranged here. There we go. Sticks. There we go. Alright, time to build. Alright, so we're going to install a coupler, and to do so, before we get that, I'm going to mark our little spot there. Okay, so that's, I know it's A30, and then we're going to cut our traces, okay? So you cut on the rear 30 AB, BC, CD, okay, and 29 AB, BC, and CD. You also cut 30 HI and IJ. Make sure you remove a little bit of a segment, and I really sort of like to get in there a bit and make sure that it's cut pretty well. There we go. There's how it should look. Alright, now you're going to test for continuity. Okay, so you use your multimeter, your beep chest, and make sure that there's no bridging in between each of these cut traces. Okay, and sometimes I'll check, the main bus there. So let's go ahead and check these buses and make sure that there's continuity between all of those, though. Okay, everything's looking good. Let's get back in focus here. Here we go. Now we're going to use our coupler alignment 3D printed piece. Again, another genius piece by Paul Morrell to make sure everything is aligned. Make sure our couplers go in there nice and easy. Again, make sure you use the pinned couplers, and then I'm going to use some tape. I'm going to tape it all up, even though you can't see it at the moment, and set it back down, and we'll start having some fun. There we go. Nice taped up piece, ready to go. Exposed area so that I can solder easily. Okay, put a little flux down. There we go. And let's start soldering these on then. There you go. You don't need a ton of solder, but roll that solder on in there. Okay, make sure everything's looking good and aligned. Peel the tape off. There we go, we got some good couplers. Alright, on to the next portion. Let's wire these things. Okay, and we're going to wire the front here. We'll start with the ground, and you go in through A29 to A30, and then to ground, to the ground below A30. Okay. Okay, and we're going to make sure we do a nice little bridge over here. So we're going to make sure there's a little extra length touching A30 and from A29, and we're going to put some solder in between. Let's make sure I get this nice and adjusted here before I do the soldering real quick. Okay, there we go. Alright, solder that on in. Alright, looking pretty good. Let's clean our board up here. Okay, and that's how you're going to do that type of soldering. Alright. Okay, now we're going to put our 3.3 volt or 3 volt line in here, and it's going to go from B29 to B30. Okay, so you're going to make a bridge there, and then you're going to put it into the 3 volt or positive below A30. Okay, and just as before, let's solder that on in. This is looking good. Clean up your board. Okay, and I'm just going to make sure that there's no connection there. Might have been a little bridge. We want to make sure that that's not happening. Alright, green wire. We're going to put the green wire, or SCL wire, from C29 to C30. Okay, and then do the negative above J30. Okay, so we'll measure that out. Leave a little extra length and then strip the wire. Let's see. And you know what? I feel like doing the SDA as well. So we're going to go ahead and pop in the SDA. Now, for this one, you can pretty much go from E30 to the SDA plus or positive above J30. So green is your I2C serial, and white is your I2C serial data. And we're going to make sure that there's enough room, a little bit of slack, just in case you need to move the wires a bit. Yeah, a little bit too much length there. Trim down, see how that works out. Alright, let's get these wires all nice and clean. There we go. A little flux. Is that a flux pen? And let's solder those on down. And a nice bead of flux there. A nice bead of solder. There we go. We gotta make sure that we have a good separation there. Solder sometimes likes to work its way in there and bridge, and we don't want that to happen. It's good to try and take out a segment of the trace if you can. First place. Alright, let's check for continuity one more time, just to be sure. Beep test. Cool. It looks like we're good, so let's go head here and clean up our board. once we got our coupler wiring going, we're going to install our quick breakout here, and we're going to start with the headers first. Okay, and we're going to put the header into D26, D25, D24, and D23. So we need a 4-pin header. Tape it down. All right, little flux there. Okay, and like I said, I like to do the 2 outside pins of the header first. Okay, let's take a look. Take our tape off. All right, and once everything looks good, if the header pins look good and it's nice and flush, go ahead and seal in your header. Okay, and you can clean it up, trim it into your waste basket if you need to. Nice clean board. Okay. Now let's install some wiring here. Alright, let's get prepared here. There we go, ground wire. We're going to do a ground wire from A25 to the ground, or the negative below A25. Alright, so just a short little wire. Again, bend the back pieces there. And you see, you do that because you want to do the wiring first before you put the chip on. All right, now we're going to do the battery wire from the A26 to the positive below A26. And again, that's just a smaller piece of wire as well. Okay, and I might do a little bit multiple wires, that way I can get all the soldering done sort of at once. It makes it kind of fun too. Though I am a little bit more prone to error the more wires that I get on there. But, okay. Then we're going to get our I2C serial clock. That's going to be E24 to F24. Make sure you get the wires in there. We don't want it falling out. Now we're going to do our E2C serial data. That's going to be E23 to F23. Alright, and then for future possible use, we're going to go, this one's going to be our battery wire from E26 to F26. And we're also going to put in our ground from E25 to F25. Now, what we're going to use that for later, I don't know at the moment, but it's there in case we need it for an optional piece. That will be, I'm sure, in the mind of others, and of course, Paul Morrell. I'm sure he's got ideas. So we also need a little bit more green wire. We're going to go from our serial, our I2C serial clock, J24 to the negative above J24. And we're also going to do another I2C serial data from J23 to the positive above J23. Get that sucker in there. There you go. Yeah, now it looks like sort of like the face hugger from Aliens, if you will. And we solder these on in. It's quite a lot of fun. I like it when I get to solder multiple things. But it is also a bit more jumbled, so you got to be a bit more cautious to make sure you don't have any bridging. Again, when you do have multiples like this in here, this is usually when mistakes can happen, especially if it's a more complicated sort of piece. At least for me, it happens that way. Or you miss a wire, just little things sometimes. But yeah, it's still a lot of fun. It's very gratifying, honestly. See, there's a little bridging there. We're going to go ahead and erase that bridging. Yeah, missed wire. Clean our board on up. And we're almost done with this board because this is a nice expansion board. Now, beautiful part about this board is that you can kind of make it whatever you want. As soon as the suite of sensors supported come out, and there's going to be quite a few eventually. I'm going to touch up these solders here, make sure that they're not bridging. Not gonna lie, a little bit of you likes it when it's a bit more rounded and not as sharp at the top as well. So just a little nitpicky thing, but this is what your board should look like before you put the quick time breakout or the quick breakout on there. I don't know why I say quick time. And there's what the rear should look like. Okay, now we're going to install the quick breakout. Make sure it's nice and snug. Make sure it's relatively level. Okay. Again, still solder the outside too first, just to make sure that it's nice and level and supported. And then I solder the inside too, and you pretty much got your quick board there. Okay. That's what it should look like when all is said and done. Okay, now you're going to use your 3D printed QuickTime expansion board, slot it on in, make sure it's correct, pop the end cap on. Okay, and see there's enough room to run wires on the front and the back, so you can pop any kind of QuickTime circuits you want on there. Again, those buses and traces are live for the most part, so you can try to expand on those if you need to. And just for this example, I'm just going to show you that you can install the QuickTime or the quick cable, and you can use double-sided tape, Velcro. I choose Velcro because I'd like to peel it off and on and all that, and I think it would work very well with students so that they can start to build out their own sensors. So, and again, I'm just using sample chips here. These are not chips that are supported necessarily for this particular thing quite yet, but I'm showing that you can put it on the front and the back, and I'm using Velcro to do that. And so you get to make your own module. Okay, your own custom module. I think it would be a great activity for kids to try to build, some of their own things and find out what they want to measure. Thank you for joining us. Have a good day.